What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. We're going to be talking to Curtis Millender, professional boxer soon to be. But, of course, you know him from his days in the UFC, in Bellator, and in PFL. He's a SoCal guy like us. What's up, Curtis? How you been, man?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome. It's great to talk to you. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to you.
Thank you. And, hey, what a surprise. You know, when we exchanged texts the other day, you're going the boxing route. How did this all come about?
Well, it's gonna be actually for Fight Club OC where I started. I'm actually fighting a former Fight Club OC opponent. It's gonna be his last fight. He wanted to go out as big as possible, fight a bigger name, and I was available. I needed to get in shape, so for whatever's gonna come later in the year. So, I took it. I've always wanted to box. And, what better place to do it than at home?
Yeah, that's true. And look, it seems like a lot of fighters from the MMA world are just kind of licking their chops. They want to get in there, whether it's the latest phase or fad that, a lot of fighters like Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley and everyone else is going through, or maybe it's just people wanting to challenge themselves, because it's so true. The difficult times that we're in, sometimes you think, geez, tomorrow's not really guaranteed. And did I hit my bucket list? Did I try to hit my bucket list? Did I, can I do this when I'm 40 or 50? I got to do it now. Like, did you feel that sense of urgency as well? Like, just, wanting to, like, I guess, tick a box or, you know what I mean?
It wasn't too much of a sense of urgency, but I knew when the opportunity came about, I was like, I might as well just take it. I might as well have some fun with it and do it. Like I said, I can use it to get in shape, because I was like hoping to get back into the PFL this April. So it's big. It's easy to get in shape for this fight. I have my weight low because I get a little heavy in between. So, so it was, I was going to do it regardless. I definitely wasn't going to do it at 40. So
okay, so just so everybody knows, Curtis is going to be boxing against John Mercurio, and they're going to go 5 rounds. It is at OC Fight Club, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Curtis, you guys do hybrid cards anyway, where it can be boxing and MMA in the same night, but it's been a promoter that started off in the boxing world and slowly embraced MMA. But is this going to be a hybrid card like some of them are?
Yes, it's going to be a hybrid card. Actually, one of my teammates, Nick Patea, is also on the card. He'll be doing MMA. It's a up and coming featherweight. So it's going to be a hybrid show. It's going to be a great show. A lot of really good up and coming boxers on the show as well. So
now, is this just a pit stop, or you want to knock out a few of these boxing matches, like, since you're, I guess, starting to dabble in boxing?
I mean, I got to pay for the license, so I might as well get the license worth. Get a couple in, but, my heart, my love, everything is still with MMA. Like, I still plan to be the best MMA fighter at welterweight on the planet. And whatever I have to do that, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and I remember asking you, so are you retiring from MMA? You said, hell no. So I could tell what your first love is. But in this fight, is it personal at all? You defeated John Mercurio a few years ago in MMA. So is it one of those where, like, you guys just carried a grudge? You guys cool? What's the story there?
It was funny. For probably the first 2 to 3 years after our fight, it was a little bit of a grudge. It was like some videos of, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or one of his fans, like, I'm taking a picture with someone and they came up and like flipped me off, like, so. And then we ended up having the same management, and we ended up not getting like cool and hanging out, but we would run into each other, see each other, and it was no beef to really have. So when this opportunity came, and I heard he wanted to have one more fight, and I was like, oh well, I want to box too. Let's do it. We can do it at home. He's a big deal here in Orange County. I am who I am here. I am Mr. Thursday Night. This is my show. I have more fights than anybody ever at the hangar for Fight Club OC. So I figured it'd be fun.
It is your home turf for sure. And for those that don't know, you start off in the wrestling world before MMA and now in
Yeah.
boxing. So you really have gotten a chance to dabble in the most popular combat sports. No disrespect to karate and taekwondo, but like the ones that really, really draw the most crowds.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm so blessed and fortunate to, you know, be doing exactly what I wanted to do since I was a kid, like a child. I knew it was going to be fighting or wrestling, and I'm here still doing it. So,
Although I will say, I don't know if do you watch karate Cobra Kai? Sorry,
I can't get into it. I can't get
no,
into it. Yeah, that's just
bro.
it doesn't
I'm
do it
on
for me.
season 4, and all due respect, they had a good crowd at the All Valley tournament this year. So maybe I shouldn't say that it's just wrestling. They may have even had more of a crowd that I've seen in some wrestling meets. So the karate crowd might push back on me on that one. But you got to reconsider, Curtis.
I mean, I'll try to go back. My baby brother, I literally just seen a post of him saying that he just finished and he can't wait for the next season. So maybe I'll try it again, but I don't know. I just can't get into it.
Okay, you saw the movies in the '80s, right? Maybe not as a kid, or you caught them at some point,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
what's the problem? I mean, they brought back a lot of former stars. There's some good fight scenes. Like, what's the problem here?
I don't know. I think I just can't get past the dialogue. I feel like the dialogue is too corny for me.
Okay, I'm gonna trade you off the Ghost because I can't handle this right now. I really love Cobra Kai, and I can't believe I'm not gonna get a fist bump from you. I thought for sure you're gonna be like, I'm with you, dog. Ghost, handle Curtis.
I'm hurting too, but we're gonna get through this. I think he'll turn it around. It's gotta like the show, man. Curtis, so in training for boxing and all that, is there the possibility, like the same way when somebody goes to their jiu-jitsu class for the first time, they always say, I caught a bug, I just all of a sudden I wanted to keep doing it, keep doing it. Is there any chance at all? I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably grew up a little bit on boxing, old boxing movies. Any way you can catch that boxing bug and just keep going and keep going?
No, I don't doubt that because my favorite athlete, my favorite fighter, period, is Floyd Mayweather. So um, I can go in there and get some knockouts and be hooked, but it's the opportunities are open. Whatever, like I say it all the time. Whatever is gonna help me put the food on the table and get the dope Christmas gifts and get the big house for my kids, I'm down. I'm gonna do it.
Now, you don't have to share numbers exact, but is the pay for boxing for you to go and do something like that, is it somewhat similar to what you would get in mixed martial arts? Is it more? Is it less? Like, where
Um,
do
a
fighters
li-
stand when they try and
it's
do this?
this is a smaller show, so it's a little less, but I'm sure there's gonna be bigger opportunities.
And when those bigger opportunities come, let's just say you get an offer for an MMA, an offer for boxing, but they pay the same. Is there one you would take in a heartbeat, or does it have to do with matchups and all that?
Most likely matchups. If they give me somebody I would really want to fight, like I still have a couple bucket list fights out there in MMA. I would definitely take it, but like yeah, it will come down to the matchup.
What are the bucket list matchups? I mean, you put it out there. Now you got to tell us.
I mean, I would love the Roy. Literally, my last two fights, those are probably the two biggest bucket list matchups, especially the Roy one. Circumstances on how that fight came about and how I had to take that fight short notice. I just feel like I could have been a different Curtis Millender with the right training and the right circumstances.
You've probably had a couple of those scenarios pop up throughout your career where,
Right.
in talking to you, we found out that maybe that's not the best Curtis Millender that's being represented, but fans don't really look at it that way, right? They just look at the W's and the L's.
Yeah.
I imagine that can be a frustrating thing, but do you ever regret doing those? I mean, it was still a big spotlight for you and maybe a learning experience.
No, yeah, not at all. I definitely don't regret it. It's definitely a privilege and an honor to even say like, yo, I main evented against Roy McDonald. Like, not very many guys can say that. There's not very many guys that say, oh, I got to fight Thiago Alves. I didn't, I got to fight one of my heroes, like one of the guys I studied, and like this. Not a lot of guys get to do that. So I don't regret anything at all. just got to work hard and try to get back to those places where I can, get some get back.
What is your MMA update? You mentioned possibly PFL again. Have you had dialogue with them? Does it sound like that's the likely destination, or are there even other opportunities?
I'm hoping I can get back. We'll see what happens, but my services for the highest bidder. Like anywhere I can get in to where I can get to that belt, get to the money, I am 100% in, 100% down. And
it's always at welterweight now. Are you going to be more consistent with that, or are you open to?
Nah, man. This fight is going to be at 185, and that's just because the last few months I've been going through, finding a new team, a new gym to train at. So didn't have very consistent training over the last few months, so I got a little chunky. So me and John Mercurio, we agreed to fight at 185. He didn't want to cut weight either. So, I mean, I still got to cut a lot of weight, but he didn't want to cut weight. So it was me, that 185 was fine. And, me getting down to 85 for this fight, I can be at the weight I normally am. And now I can get ready for 70 after this fight.
What MMA gym do you think you might wind up at? Are there any that
I've already picked the spot. I am at the Body Shop with Antonio McKee.
Oh, that's
so yeah, he's been wanting me for a long time. He's been telling me to get over here for a long time, and I shopped around a little bit, and this was just the right fit. I still go over and train at CSW. I still love Ben Jones and my team over there, but it was definitely time for a change for me.
Dust off them wrestling shoes and get that singlet. Coach Antonio, he's gonna push that angle hard.
Man, he no joke. He is just no joke over there.
and please show up on time. Do not show
up. I'm always early. I'm always early.
Yeah, the coach don't play, man. But that gym's got so much buzz going now with their world champion and AJ McKee. And, a few of the other supporting casts that are also winning some big fights. So we're very, very happy for the Body Shop.
Yeah, I'm loving it over there. And I plan to be there for a long time.
Curtis, let me just do this last thing here. And as I do it, you just stop me when you want to interject. But I'm going to go over your career and you tell me what jumps out at you in terms of like, I want to address that or, whatever. I'm just going to go through it like a fan would. I don't mean any disrespect, and then you can just chime in at the end, or if you want to jump in and just say something, all right?
All right.
We're just trying something new here. All right, so Curtis Millender, our guest here, he's had a unique career in that he's fought like all of the major organizations, started off with a 6-0 run. Then he took a couple of L's over at Bellator. Good fighters, though, Brennan Ward, Fernando Gonzalez. Then he caught a win at Bellator. However, that first run at Bellator was over. Then he took a loss to Eddie Mendez. He sits at 8-3 at that point. And then my man rattled off 9 in a row, including fighting through LFA and going 3-0 with them, 3-0 with the UFC, wins over Thiago Alves, Max Griffin, CR Bahar Dusada, good strikers, veteran strikers, guys that fought for the titles, even Kevin Holland in the mix. Kevin Holland, who's doing very well in the UFC. And then after that, a couple of losses. I still don't agree with the cut, or I don't know what it was, because you had a 3-2 run with the UFC. You go back to Bellator, pick up a win. You actually split. You go 1-1, and then you finish with 2 losses in the PFL. What right there? Is there something that you just want to address? Or does it get your blood boiling, any of that? Or are you pleased with the way things played out?
I'm definitely not pleased with the way they played out. I feel like now that I go back and I look at my career after the cut, I definitely wasn't the same Curtis. The motivation, like it really fucked me up bad. Like the motivation wasn't really there. Kind of went through like a depression to where like, oh damn, like I'm not good enough. It was hard. It was definitely hard to get out of that. That first fight after the cut in Bellator, I thought I was okay. And I don't know, things just wasn't right, Definitely fighting during COVID. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm real big on energy and the crowd, and that's no excuse, because you should be able to perform like we're fighting. Like you fight every day, so it should be no excuse. But not having that energy from the crowd is different. And then I can't. I'm in the gym every day. I grapple, I wrestle. A lot of things these fans that talk a lot of shit about, oh, Curtis gets sub, Curtis can't wrestle. Yo, these are some of the best dudes in the world. You can't look at my record and say that I lose to a bum. I've never lost to a bum ever. I've never lost to anybody that's not one of the best at that time. So,
yeah,
that's something
that's something I should have said, because if I'm going to give praise to the guys that you beat, because that was a good list. And in fact, if you think about it, that's one of the toughest fight runs for someone that starts off in the UFC. Because I left out Eliseo dos Santos, who was the guy that gave you your first loss in the UFC, and then Bilal Muhammad, who's a stud. He's doing well right now. But you sure as hell didn't get the Sean O'Malley treatment over there, man. You got
exactly. So yeah, and and I feel like that it's been like that my whole career. I've never taken the easy route. I've always fought the best available.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, for now, we'll focus on the boxing match. Hopefully, we get a chance to talk to you on Fight Week, see how your camp went for boxing. And then, of course, after that, whether it's the PFL or wherever you reside, you always have a home at MMA Junkie Radio. And we'll talk about what's coming up in MMA as well in 2021.
I do have one more thing. Yeah. I also have my promoter hat on. Okay. A really good friend of mine, Christian Gonzalez, who is also a former fighter, Bellator, fought a few times in Bellator. We have an amateur promotion, True Promotions. We're getting ready to have our second show here, January 30th. I do all the matchmaking, and it's a very special show. It's fighters working for fighters. There's no promoters. There's no big money man behind it. It's just fighters strictly working for fighters.
What does that mean, fighters working for fighters?
A lot of times you get promoters who have never really fought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, they like these shows, like we understand what fighters go through. Like we give them decent amount, a bigger amount of ticket sales, because it is an amateur fight. So we give them better amount of ticket sales. That way they can take care of things they need to do. Driving to the gym every day isn't cheap if you don't have a job, or if this is all you do. It's tough. So we put a lot of work in to make sure the fighters are taken care of, making sure we put on great fights and a great show, a beautiful show. So for our first show, you can sit there and tell us that was an amateur show. The only thing that gives it away is the shin guards.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're saying the people that are in executive type roles, like the matchmaker, president, or decision makers, they've been in these cages and rings, and they can relate with the fighter. They'll never be that whole, well, you don't know the struggle type of conversation, right?
Exactly. And we do everything we can to get the best guys available. If you want to fight, let us know. If you want to fight, we're going to put you on. We're going to work hard to get you a matchup.
Where's the show based? Where are your shows at?
At the M3 Event Center in Anaheim.
M3 Event Center. Where's that at? Update me. I haven't been in
it's on Harbor Boulevard. We're about 2 or 3 blocks away from Disneyland.
Nice. All right. And the next show is January 30th?
January 30th.
That's awesome. All right. So promoter hat, boxer, and MMA fighter. And of course, he's even doing the matchmaking for the organization. Sorry, what was the name again of the organization?
True Promotions.
True Promotions. Cool. We'll be on the lookout for that. Thanks as always for the time, man. It's always great catching up with you. And at some point, when Kawhi Leonard's done with the Clippers, you need to be done with the Clippers and come over to Lakerland.
I'm never gonna come over to Lakerland. My sons can play for the Lakers, and I'm still gonna go for somebody else. I'm gonna take them tickets. I'm gonna take the tickets in the house. But
I'll give up on that. But you got to reconsider Kobe at least.
I'll do that before the Lakers. I'll watch Cobra Kai again. Even if I have to suffer through it, I will watch it for you.
All right, man. All right. Thanks for the time as always.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.